In the shimmering heat of the African savanna, a lone figure crouches low in the tall grass, eyes locked on its target as muscles coil beneath a spotted coat designed for speed. With sleek limbs, a slender frame, and distinctive black tear marks streaking down its face, the cheetah prepares to do what no other land animal can: accelerate from 0 to 60 in just a few seconds, turning a heartbeat into a blur of motion. For centuries, this remarkable predator has ruled its wild domain through sheer velocity, grace, and stealth. But today, a strange question is stirring in conservation circles. Could the future of the cheetah lie not in Africa, but in the vast and open landscapes of the United States? At first glance, the idea sounds like a thought experiment or the premise of a sci-fi novel. Cheetahs, those icons of African wilderness, padding across the plains of Texas or New Mexico. Yet behind this question lies a very real concern, one rooted in biology, ecology, and the desperate fight to save a species racing toward extinction. Fewer than 7,000 cheetahs remain in the wild, and with each passing year, their numbers continue to decline due to habitat loss, poaching, human conflict, and shrinking genetic diversity that weakens their future resilience. These elegant creatures, once widespread across Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, now survive in scattered and often fragile populations that are dangerously vulnerable to collapse. Conservationists are working hard to protect cheetahs where they live, investing in local programs, anti-poaching units, and education efforts. But despite these admirable attempts, the challenges they face are enormous. This has led some researchers and wildlife advocates to explore a radical possibility. Could introducing cheetahs to controlled environments in the United States offer a viable path toward population recovery and long-term survival? While it might sound extreme, history offers surprising precedent. Exotic species like oryx from the deserts of Africa have already been introduced and successfully bred on ranches in the American Southwest. Even the scimitar-horned oryx, declared extinct in the wild, has staged a comeback thanks to breeding programs based in Texas. So perhaps the US, with its expansive ranchlands and well-managed private reserves, could offer not just refuge, but opportunity. The American landscape, particularly in states like Texas, Nevada, and New Mexico, offers terrain that mimics the open plains cheetahs prefer. Large swaths of sparsely populated land could provide the space cheetahs need to run freely, hunt naturally, and display the full spectrum of behaviors seen in the wild. Some wildlife parks already maintain ecosystems that resemble African habitats, with native prey species and minimal human interference. In theory, these environments could support a small, carefully monitored cheetah population. But it's not just about finding space. It's about creating an entire support system that respects the cheetah's biology, protects existing ecosystems, and aligns with the ethics of conservation. Cheetahs are unlike any other big cat. They don't roar like lions, they don't climb like leopards, and they lack the brute strength of a tiger. Instead, they depend on speed, solitude, and high visibility to thrive, which makes them extremely sensitive to stress and competition. In Africa, cheetahs often lose their kills to stronger predators like lions and hyenas, and they're pushed out of prime hunting areas as they struggle to raise cubs in secret. In the US, the absence of those dominant carnivores could actually give cheetahs a unique advantage, allowing them to operate as apex predators in spaces where they've never lived before. But this also raises new questions. How would they impact local ecosystems, and what unforeseen ripple effects might follow their introduction? Introducing a large predator into any environment, no matter how controlled, requires enormous care, and even the best-intentioned conservation efforts can sometimes produce unintended consequences. Cheetahs might adapt beautifully, or they might struggle to cope with new prey, different climates, or unfamiliar terrain. They might thrive under human care, or they might revert to stressed, semi-domesticated behaviors that don't reflect true wildness. And perhaps most importantly, they might never be fully accepted by the public. Americans are used to mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, and even wolves in certain regions. But how would they react to sleek, spotted cats sprinting across the horizon of a nearby wildlife reserve? Would the novelty inspire awe, tourism, and education, or fear, controversy, and backlash? Public perception plays a vital role in any conservation story, especially when it comes to predators. To make something like this work, people must not only understand the reasons behind it, but also feel invested in its success. That means deep community engagement, transparent planning, and long-term education that focuses not just on saving cheetahs, but on restoring ecosystems and reimagining coexistence. Some experts propose that any introduction of cheetahs to the US should happen only within large, fenced conservation areas, controlled landscapes where the animals can roam widely but remain contained. These semi-wild sanctuaries could offer the cheetahs the ability to hunt, mate, and raise cubs without the pressure of apex competitors or human encroachment. Others argue this approach walks the line between zoo and wild, raising important ethical questions about what we consider natural in an increasingly altered world. Ultimately, the debate over cheetahs in America isn't just about one species. It's about the future of conservation in the Anthropocene, a time when humans shape nearly every ecosystem on Earth. Do we try to freeze species in place, fighting to preserve fragments of original habitat, even when those places are vanishing? Or do we embrace bold, even controversial solutions that allow species to survive, even if it means redefining their home? Around the globe, conservationists are already making those kinds of decisions. The California condor, once extinct in the wild, now soars once again thanks to intensive breeding and release programs. Pandas, once struggling to reproduce, are thriving due to artificial insemination and habitat protections. Even in India, endangered tigers are being relocated between reserves to reduce inbreeding and territorial conflict. The idea of cheetahs in America may still seem far-fetched to many, but consider what's at stake: a species that evolved over millions of years, perfectly adapted to the chase, facing the very real possibility of extinction within our lifetimes. Do we watch as their numbers slip further into oblivion, clinging to outdated definitions of what's natural? Or do we chart a new path forward, one that values survival over sentiment? In the end, this isn't just about cheetahs. It's about our responsibility to protect the diversity of life on this planet, no matter where that mission takes us. Because if we can save a cheetah, if we can give it a new home and a new chance, maybe we can save a little bit of ourselves too. And maybe, just maybe, the American wilderness will echo one day with the quiet patter of spotted paws and the triumphant return of a legend that refused to fade.